This is the side story for the end of the world. If you haven't seen the main story, check the description box or the comments for the link. Now let's get right into it. It's the wedding day, and everyone is smiling and looking so happy. Eesuh comes in wearing a beautiful wedding dress that makes her look like a princess. She walks slowly down the aisle, all eyes on her, until she reaches Taejoh, who is waiting at the end. They look at each other with so much love. They say their vows, promising to be together forever. Then they exchange rings, each placing a ring on the other's finger. Finally, they kiss, sealing their promises. The whole wedding is really beautiful, with flowers everywhere and everyone feeling joyful and excited. At HOT International Headquarters, in the corporate daycare, Taejoh walks in carrying his baby, Eunwoo, in his arms. Taejoh exchanges greetings with the director, who smiles warmly at them. Eunwoo is now 11 months old, and he's full of energy and always playful. The director notices how happy Eunwoo seems and comments, "Looks like he's in a good mood today." Taejoh nods and smiles, saying, "It's because his mother is coming tomorrow." Eunwoo hears this and giggles, excitedly running off to play with the other kids. After a few moments, he comes running back to his dad, gives him a quick hug, and says goodbye before darting off again to join his friends. The daycare is filled with the sounds of children laughing and playing, making it a cheerful place. The director tells Taejoh some news about Eunwoo. Yoon was super excited to see his girlfriend, Jiyu. She's also his best buddy. Among his pals, Yoon was like the coolest kid around. Taejoh notices that Eunwoo seems to be growing up faster than the other kids. The director nods and says it's pretty amazing. Even though Eunwoo might not understand everything being said to him yet, he still catches on really quick. Taejoh mentions he's gonna grab lunch with Eunwoo. They say their goodbyes, and Taejoh heads out. Inside, he's thinking, wow, looks like we've got a little genius on our hands. Over at Haitian Resort in Jeju Island, Eesuh is now the deputy director. About 100 days after Eunwoo was born, she decided she wanted to go back to work. Suh, the boss, made her the head of Jeju Island. So now, she splits her time, spending 1 week in Jeju and the next in Seoul. It's like she's taking things step by step, just like climbing up a staircase. So, Eesuh has got quite the job description. She's not just any employee, she's the director's daughter-in-law, Taejoh Ryu's wife, and little Eunwoo's mom. Even though they're shorthanded by about 10 people at work, Eesuh is still happy as can be. She's living a life filled with faith, love, and a whole lot of responsibility. She's grateful that her dreams have come true and that happiness is now just a normal thing for her. Tomorrow, she's looking forward to seeing her family. But just as she's settling in, there's a knock at the door. It's one of her coworkers with news of a little hiccup downstairs. Yuze rushes downstairs, curious about the problem. One of her colleagues breaks the news: part of Jo Hyun Lee's sculpture got damaged. Turns out, there was a mistake during installation, and Mr. Jeongho accidentally touched the wrong thing. He apologizes and offers to pay for the damaged piece, but the employee isn't satisfied. They explain how hard it was to get that sculpture in the first place. The artist warned them that even the tiniest bump could wreck it. Eesuh jumps into action, assuring everyone not to worry. She's got this under control. First off, she promises to reach out to the artist pronto to sort things out. Then, she gives the manager clear instructions, snaps some photos of the damaged sculpture and tidy it up with the rest of the team. They also need to rearrange the schedule for displaying the piece. Time's ticking, so she urges everyone to stay calm and refocus on their tasks. Eesuh takes a seat next to Jeongho, aiming to have a heart-to-heart chat. She starts by saying that everyone messes up at some point, but it's crucial for him to grasp how even a tiny error can snowball into big trouble. It's not just about the art center's image taking a hit, there's more at stake. It could harm the artist's chances of landing future gigs and even Jeongho's own livelihood. Hearing this, Jeongho nods thoughtfully, promising to take her advice seriously. Eesuh adds that while he should definitely be more careful moving forward, he shouldn't let this slip-up discourage him. Jeongho appreciates the support and heads out, feeling a bit lighter after their chat. While Taejoh and Eunwoo are grabbing lunch together, Taejoh notices how Yoon was eating all by himself, like a big kid. He marvels at how grown-up Eunwoo seems and casually asks him about his girlfriend, Jiu. Eunwoo just keeps nodding along. Taejoh then jokes about Eunwoo being so popular already, wondering how they'll handle him when he's all grown up. He suggests Eunwoo might want to dial down his handsomeness to make life a bit easier. Taejoh also advises Eunwoo to find a wife as awesome as his mom, though he adds that might be a tough find. Taejoh mentions to Eunwoo that he's just gotta snooze one more night, and then he'll be reunited with his mom. He admits he's missing his wife too. After a bit, Taejoh casually asks Eunwoo if he wants a little brother or sister. Eunwoo eagerly nods twice. Taejoh chuckles, wondering if Eunwoo really gets what he's saying. He explains that Eunwoo might see the world as all rainbows and unicorns right now, but having a younger sibling is a whole different ballgame, a lot more complicated than it seems. Taejoh explains to Eunwoo that when a baby sibling comes along, they'll have to split the love between them. He asks why Eunwoo would want to share when he can have all the love to himself. Scooping up Eunwoo, Taejoh shares that mommy actually wants a little brother or sister for Eunwoo too. It's just that daddy isn't quite ready yet. Plus, mommy's had a tough time with her pregnancy. Taejoh thinks they shouldn't make things any harder for her. Later that evening, Taejoh video calls Eesuh at home. He tells her that Eunwoo spent the whole day asking for her and that they both miss her a lot. Eesuh replies saying she misses them too. Suddenly, she hears the doorbell ring and tells Taejoh to hold on a sec. Taejoh overhears Eesuh asking the person at the door how they know her address. He senses something's up and gets really mad when he hears it's Amandat Eesuh's house on Jeju Island. Taejoh walks in and spots some mangoes. He figures nothing's really wrong, but still has a tiny bit of doubt. He bursts open the bathroom door, only to find Eesuh taking a bath. Eesuh is puzzled and asks Taejoh what's going on. She wonders how he ended up there and what's happening with Eunwoo. Taejoh, still curious about the man he heard at the door, asks Eesuh for more details. They got cut off during their phone call earlier, so he's eager to know who it was. Eesuh calmly explains that he's just a part-time employee who's training at the art center. It was no biggie, really. There was a small accident at the center today, and the part-timer felt guilty about it, so he stopped by to apologize. Taejoh traveled all the way to Ushuaia to find Eesuh. He felt like he was falling into a never-ending hole. When Eesuh asks if he's mad, he shakes his head, saying he's not. She mentions that if anyone has the right to be upset, it's her. She's been crazy busy with work, pulling all-nighters, and struggling to find time to eat. And now, this big misunderstanding. Taejoh feels bad and apologizes, realizing he might have come off as a jerk. Eesuh tells him to hop into the bath and relaxed as Taejoh eagerly heads for the bath. Eesuh tries to halt his progress, but he's set on getting in there right away. He insists there's no way he's waiting, the stress of the journey has been driving him up the wall. Eesuh then brings up the part-timer who dropped off some mangoes at the door, which puzzles Taejoh. He wonders why she accepted them. Aren't young guys more careful these days? Eesuh gently touches his forehead and explains that it was the guy's first real job, and he must have been really nervous after causing such a big accident. He even brought his mom along for support. This whole incident got Eesuh thinking about what she would have done if something like that happened with their little Eunwoo, adding another layer of worry to her plate. Taejoh questions why the part-timer didn't just bring the mangoes to her at the center and why he showed up so late at night. He then asks if she knew about Eunwoo having a girlfriend. Eesuh responds, wondering how Eunwoo can be taking after Taejoh in such matters, and adds that he must be thrilled to see his son turning out just like him. Taejoh acknowledges how hard Eesuh works and how much care she puts into her job. He admits that he loves her deeply and sometimes gets anxious because she's so beautiful. It's just how crazy he is about her. Unable to resist, they start kissing. In the next scene, we learn that it was spring, and Eesuh and Taejoh's paths crossed in a funny way back in school when they were both 18. Some guys were searching for Taejoh, and Eesuh stepped in to help him out. But instead of thanking her, Taejoh called her a doormat. Taejoh's friends compliment Eesuh, calling her Nuna and saying she's pretty. They mention she has a boyfriend named Taehan, but their relationship is just casual. Turns out, Eesuh was cheating on Taehan, and when he came looking for her, Taejoh fled the scene. And just when Taejoh thought things couldn't get weirder, he spots Eesuh telling another guy she loves him. The guy asks Eesuh if she wants to catch a movie, and Taejoh can't help but think how her smile looks so sweet and gentle, even though she treated him like a fool. At the movies, the guy suggests they go see a judo match together at the judo competition. Both Taejoh and Eesuh are there. Taejoh gears up for his match, but when he spots Eesuh in the crowd, his focus slips, and he ends up losing the fight because of the distraction. Meanwhile, Eesuh decides to call things off with the guy after just their second date. She's feeling a bit restless, wishing time would speed up so she could grow up and have more freedom. As she watches the matches, she can't help but notice Taejoh heading her way, and she wonders why he's looking at her with such intensity. Not long after, Eesuh finds herself lying in bed with Taejoh, and she's baffled at how they ended up in this situation. She used to think they were like two ships passing in the night, from totally different worlds. Yet here they are, reunited again. She can't shake the memory of how his eyes seemed to linger on her back then. It's strange because nothing was supposed to happen between them. They were just supposed to keep walking past each other, like strangers. But somehow, things changed, and now he's hers, and she's his. She's always secretly hoped for this moment, to be together with him like this. At the Jeju Island Center, Taejoh spots the broken piece from yesterday and wonders where the guy responsible is. He can't help but feel a bit uneasy lately because his wife is becoming so stunning, it's starting to cause some problems. Just then, Jeongho strikes up a conversation with Taejoh. Taejoh mentions he wants to buy the broken piece, and Jeongho goes off to get Eesuh. When Eesuh arrives, she tells Taejoh the piece isn't for sale. But Taejoh isn't taking no for an answer. He flashes his black card and pulls her in close, insisting they can't waste any more time here. Eesuh introduces Taejoh as her husband, and Jeongho introduces himself as well. Taejoh grabs his wife's hand, signaling to everyone that it's time to call it a day and head home. She looks at him, curious if everything in life comes as easy to him as it seems. With a sigh, Taejoh admits that while everything else may be a breeze, dealing with her is the toughest part of his life, but it's a challenge he gladly accepts because he loves her so much. As they walk, Taejoh's mind drifts back to their school days, pondering what might have happened if he had made a move on her back then, if he hadn't let his pride get in the way. Would she still be the one who captivates his thoughts and fills his heart with such longing? It's a question that lingers in his mind, fueled by the fact that he's harbored feelings for her since they were kids. Tae Sung-won, grandfather, is having a blast playing with Woo, and Taejoh swings by to pick up his son. He mentions that Eesuh is busy chatting with her mom about plans for Yoonwoo's first birthday. As Taejoh heads out, grandfather gives him some praise, saying he's been doing a great job. Pa chimes in, listing all of Taejoh's hard work. Then, grandfather wonders if it might be time to promote Taejoh this year. Just as they're talking, they spot Taejoh and Eesuh outside. Grandfather chuckles, remarking that it looks like Taejoh has finally stepped up and become a real man after meeting the right woman. Eesuh and Taejoh attend Jeonwon's wedding, where Taejoh introduces Eesuh to Jeonwon's little sister. They exchange congratulations and enjoy the festive atmosphere. Later, as they ride in the car, Taejoh notices Eesuh drank a lot at the wedding and asks her why. She explains that she's happy and appreciates how everyone respects them because of their efforts. Eesuh tries to get cozy with Taejoh, but he gently tells her to sober up first. When they arrive home, they start kissing passionately. Taejoh confesses that if it had just been the two of them on their way back, he would have pulled over the car. Then, they get more intimate, with Eesuh taking the lead. At Haesunwon, Eun-woo looks adorable in his little suit for his doll celebration. Everyone's gathered around, beaming with happiness to celebrate him. Eesuh's parents express their gratitude to Taejoh for his support. Then, it's time for Eun-woo to blow out the candles on his birthday cake, with his parents right beside him. The room is filled with laughter and a sense of togetherness. Eesuh shares a heartfelt moment with her brother, expressing how happy she feels. Finally, they all gather for a big family photo to capture the joyous occasion. Back at home, Eun-woo is peacefully asleep, and Eesuh comments on how tiring today must have been for their little one. Taejoh agrees, mentioning it's the first time their families have all gathered like this, and he feels proud. They decide to pour themselves a glass of wine and unwind. As they sip their drinks, they reflect on the challenges they've faced together. Taejoh asks Eesuh if today was okay for her, and she admits she always feels a bit off after seeing her family. However, she adds that it's different now because she has Taejoh by her side, the one person who's always there for her. Taejoh agrees, suggesting they can create another little one who looks just like her this time. With that, they begin to get closer and more intimate. 5 years later, it's Christmas Eve, and they're in Ushuaia, known as the end of the world. Eun-woo has grown up a bit since then, and Taejoh mentions that the house in front of them is where they first met. Now, they're a family of 4, with their daughter Suh, who's 4 years old. She's the spitting image of Eesuh, and they're all excited to spend the holiday together. They all head inside, and Eesuh starts reminiscing about the time she first came here. After sharing the story, they all settle in for the night and go to sleep. Finally, it's Christmas Day, and the kids excitedly start opening their presents. Eesuh surprises them by giving each of them the same bracelet she and Taejoh have. The kids express their gratitude and thank them for the thoughtful gifts. After unwrapping their presents, they decide to visit the place where they can see the end of the world. While they're there, Eun-woo shares his wish for another baby, a baby brother. Taejoh wastes no time in telling Eesuh about Eun-woo's wish. But then Suh jumps in, saying she's the only baby and she doesn't want another one. She's quite adamant about it, making her point clear, found their paradise as a family of 4 in this place where everyone can find happiness. They've decided to make each other's wishes come true and be each other's paradise, making each day even happier. They're committed to being there for each other until the end, no matter what comes their way. And with that, this beautiful story comes to an end. Enjoyed it? Please let us know in the comments. Also, please support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Until next time, ciao.